2012 Mayan Apocalypse. The 2012 Mayan Apocalypse became the most famous doomsday prediction of the internet age. The ancient Mayan calendar had a cycle called the 13th Baktun that ended on December 21st, 2012. This wasn't actually a prediction of doom. The Mayans just saw it as the end of one cycle and the start of another, like our calendar going from December 31st to January 1st. But the internet turned it into a global panic. NASA received over 5,000 questions every single day in November 2012 from scared people. They wanted to know if a planet would hit Earth or if the sun would explode. A Reuters poll found that 10% of all people worldwide believed the world would actually end. That's 700 million people preparing for death. In China, the government arrested 93 members of a church for spreading doomsday rumors and causing panic. People spent $200 million on survival gear, underground bunkers, and emergency food. December 21st came and went like any other day. Y2K Millennium Bug. Y2K wasn't a religious prophecy, but a real computer problem that could have broken everything. In the early days of computers, programmers saved memory by using 2 digits for years. They wrote 99 instead of 1999. This meant computers couldn't tell the difference between 1900 and 2000. People feared that at midnight on January 1st, 2000, all computers would crash. Banks would lose money records. Planes would fall from the sky. Nuclear plants would melt down. The United States spent $100 billion fixing the problem between 1995 and 2000. Every major company hired programmers to check millions of lines of code. Gun sales increased by 50% in 1999 as Americans prepared for society to collapse. When midnight came, almost nothing happened. Only 150 slot machines broke in Delaware. 7 nuclear plant monitors failed in Japan but had backups. The massive preparation actually worked. If we hadn't fixed Y2K, the disasters might have been real. The Great Disappointment. William Miller was a Baptist preacher who thought he could calculate Jesus' return using the Bible. He studied the book of Daniel, especially chapter 8, verse 14, which mentions 2,300 days. Miller decided these were actually years and counted from 457 BCE to get March 21st, 1843. He convinced 100,000 people in the northeastern United States that Jesus was coming back. These Millerites sold their property, gave away their money, and quit their jobs. When March 1844 passed with no Jesus, a follower named Samuel Snow said Miller calculated wrong. The real date was October 22nd, 1844, the Jewish Day of Atonement. Thousands gathered in fields wearing white robes, looking at the sky. October 22nd passed. Nothing happened. They called it the Great Disappointment. Many lost faith completely. Others formed new churches like the Seventh-day Adventists, which now has 22 million members who still believe Jesus is coming soon. Harold Camping's May 21st, 2011 rapture. Harold Camping was an 89-year-old radio preacher who spent $100 million announcing the end of the world. He bought 5,000 billboards across America saying, "Judgment Day, May 21st, 2011. His family radio network broadcast in 150 countries. Camping used complicated Bible math to pick this exact date. He said true Christians would float up to heaven while everyone else faced earthquakes and death. One follower, Robert Fitzpatrick, spent his entire life savings of $140,000 on subway ads in New York City. Families split apart when some members believed and others didn't. May 21st came, and nothing happened. Camping went into hiding for 3 days, then said he made a spiritual mistake. The real date was October 21st, 2011. When that failed too, Camping admitted he was wrong. Several followers killed themselves. Others lost their homes and jobs. Camping died in 2013, still believing the end was near. Halleys Comet Poison Gas Panic. Halley's Comet returns every 76 years, but in 1910, it caused worldwide panic. French astronomer Camille Flammarion announced that Earth would pass through the comet's tail on May 19, 1910. The tail contained cyanogen, a poison gas. Newspapers ran headlines about the world ending in poison clouds. Scientists tried to explain that the gas was too thin to hurt anyone, but people didn't listen. The New York Times reported people buying gas masks and special comet pills for $1 each. These pills were just sugar, but sellers claimed they prevented poison death. In Texas, farmers sealed their windows and doors with wet towels. Some people threw end-of-the-world parties. Others killed themselves to avoid the poison. including documented cases in California and Japan. May 19th arrived, and Earth passed through the tail. Nothing happened. The gas was millions of times too thin to affect anything. Heaven's Gate Comet. Marshall Applewhite led the Heaven's Gate cult in California. When Comet Hale-Bopp appeared in 1997, he told followers an alien spaceship was hiding behind it. This ship would take them to a higher level of existence. But first, they had to leave their human bodies behind. On March 26, 1997, 39 members ate applesauce mixed with phenobarbital and drank vodka. They put plastic bags over their heads to make sure they died. Police found their bodies in a mansion near San Diego. They all wore matching black clothes and Nike shoes. Each had $5.75 in quarters in their pockets for interplanetary toll. They left video messages explaining that Earth was being recycled and they were evacuating. The members had paid $5,000 each for alien abduction insurance. This was the largest mass suicide on American soil. It led to discussions about regulating dangerous groups on the internet. The Jupiter Effect. Two real astronomers wrote a book that scared millions of people. John Gribben and Stephen Plegman predicted that on March 10, 1982, all 9 planets would line up on the same side of the sun. This happens only once every 179 years. They said this alignment would cause the sun's gravity to change. This would trigger massive earthquakes that would destroy California. Their 1974 book sold 5 million copies. Scientists explained that the planet's gravity was too weak to affect Earth. The combined pull of all planets equals less than the moon's daily effect on tides. But people didn't understand the science. They just knew smart astronomers said California would fall into the ocean. March 10th, 1982 arrived. The planets aligned. No unusual earthquakes happened anywhere on Earth. The authors had to publicly admit they were wrong. This damaged astronomy's reputation with the public for years. Nostradamus, King of Terror. Nostradamus wrote mysterious 4-line poems in the 1500s that people still think predict the future. His most famous doomsday verse was Quatrain 10.72. It said, "In the year 1999 and 7 months, from the sky will come the great king of terror." People thought this meant nuclear war or an asteroid. The Japanese cult Aum Shinrikyo used this prediction to justify releasing poison gas in Tokyo's subway in 1995. They wanted to start the apocalypse early. Book sales of Nostradamus increased 300% in the first half of 1999. Publishers made $100 million selling books about the coming disaster. The French government had to issue an official statement on July 1st, 1999, asking citizens to stay calm. July passed without any king of terror. People then said Nostradamus meant August or September. Those passed too. Like all Nostradamus predictions, it was vague enough that believers could always find new meanings. Planet X, Nibiru collision. Nancy Lieder claimed aliens spoke to her through an implant in her brain. In 1995, these aliens from Zeta Reticuli warned her about Planet X. This hidden planet would pass by Earth on May 27, 2003, causing the poles to shift. Continents would move. Most humans would die. She spread this warning on her website, Zeta Talk. When 2003 passed without disaster, believers moved the date to December 21, 2012 to match the Mayan calendar. NASA had to create a special webpage to explain that Planet X doesn't exist. Telescopes would have seen it years before arrival. The webpage got 21 million visits in 2012. When 2012 failed, believers picked September 23, 2017, based on stars mentioned in the Bible's Book of Revelation. That failed too. People still make YouTube videos about Nibiru coming next year. These videos get millions of views even though the planet has failed to appear for 20 years. Jehovah's Witnesses' multiple predictions. The Jehovah's Witnesses have predicted the world's end more than any other group. Charles Taze Russell, their founder, first said Jesus would return in October 1914. When World War I started that year, followers thought he was right, but the war ended and the world continued. The next leader, Judge Rutherford, picked 1925. He famously said, "Millions now living will never die." Those millions did die. In 1966, the Watchtower Society suggested 1975 would be the end. They said it marked 6,000 years since God created Adam. Thousands of witnesses sold their homes and quit their jobs. Kids dropped out of school because education seemed pointless. After 1925 failed, 75% of members left the religion. After 1975 failed, Another 500,000 quit. The witnesses no longer give specific dates but still believe the end is very near. Pat Robertson's annual predictions. Pat Robertson hosts the 700 Club television show that reaches 1 million viewers daily. Almost every year, he announces that God told him about coming disasters. In 1982, he predicted nuclear war. In 1988, he guaranteed the rapture. In 2006, he said a tsunami would hit America. In 2012, he claimed God told him Mitt Romney would win the presidency and serve 2 terms. Every prediction has been wrong. Robertson's predictions affect millions of evangelical Christians who trust him. They make major life decisions based on his words. Some don't save for retirement because the world is ending. Others vote for politicians Robertson says God chose. After each failed prediction, Robertson says he misunderstood God's message. His viewers forgive him and wait for the next prediction. He continues making predictions even though his success rate is 0%. The 2038 Unix problem. The 2038 problem is different because it's real and will happen. Unix computers count time as seconds since January 1st, 1970. They store this number as a 32-bit integer. On January 19th, 2038 at 3:14 a.m., this number will be too big to store. The computer will think it's December 13th, 1901. This affects billions of devices, including cars, routers, and factory equipment. Linux fixed this problem in 2020 by using 64-bit numbers, but older systems can't be updated. Many are built into machines that run power plants, water systems, and hospitals. Experts say fixing all systems will cost $2 trillion, more than Y2K cost. Unlike religious predictions, this has a real deadline. Computers don't care about faith or belief. The number will run out. If we don't fix it, critical systems will fail.